Caitlin Clark says, how do you say bang in Portuguese? It don't matter! Bang! For a preseason game, they flew up from Brazil, lost by 64, and got to make TikToks with Caitlin Clark after the game. Where do I sign up?
Brazil didn't just lose to Caitlin Clark. They got swept pretty bad, but they stayed around and still asked for her autograph. This wasn't a basketball game. This was a one-woman demolition, a global showcase, a preseason execution that left Brazil's national team so dazed, they forgot they were the opponents and started acting like superfans.
They were getting her to sign their jerseys. She was signing the players' jerseys. This is like Dream Team. This is literally like Dream Team stuff. We haven't seen this since the damn Dream Team. She is literally signing the jerseys of teams she played against.
A full squad of international players, flown in from South America, standing in line after a 64-point blowout just to get Caitlin Clark to sign their jerseys. You heard that right, not a photoshoot, not a PR stunt. This was pure unfiltered basketball worship. And Caitlin, she signed everyone. No ego, no flex, just cool, casual greatness. Like it was Tuesday.
How are you? Good, how are you?
You're an amazing player. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're changing the history in basketball.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming here and playing us. Most people you've played in front of.
Yeah.
Brazil's own coach, a grizzled vet who's probably seen more hoops than your favorite analyst, stood there speechless, like he'd just seen Michael Jordan in ponytail form. But it gets crazier, because just days before that, Angel Reese stepped onto the same court, faced the same team, and walked off to crickets. No jerseys, no selfies, no standing ovation, just missed shots and silence.
How does one get a McDonald's endorsement deal and can't jump over a credit card? Like, what is that?
So how did one player cause an international basketball meltdown while the other couldn't even crack the highlight reel? Let's break it all down, because what happened next was a straight up global shift in women's basketball power. This wasn't a basketball game. This was a spiritual awakening. Brazil didn't walk off the court defeated. They walked off converted. And the shrine they were worshiping at, her name is Caitlin Clark.
Score, Fever 108, Brazil 44. A successful homecoming for Caitlin Clark and Indiana and Iowa.
Imagine getting annihilated by 64 points, then still lining up to get the player who lit you up to sign your jersey like she was the headliner at Madison Square Garden. That's not just admiration, that's women's basketball honor. Every single Brazilian player, from the starters to the bench warmers, had their phones out and their jerseys in hand. And Caitlin, she stood there, post-game, signing them one by one like a humble queen doing charity work. She wasn't the opponent, she was the event, the main attraction, the walking legend.
The team she played against last night, and I understand a lot of this team was young, but the team she played against last night, getting pictures with Caitlin Clark at the end of the game, having her literally sign their jerseys, and those jerseys, you better believe the coach of the rival team being in shock. Like, this is the dream team. This is the dream team. This is the opponents getting pictures with the dream team.
And it didn't stop with the players. The coach, a battle-tested veteran who's seen his fair share of superstars, didn't just give a soundbite. He gave a eulogy, a poetic tribute, a verbal crown to place on Caitlin's head. His post-game reaction didn't sound like someone who lost. It sounded like someone who had just watched basketball evolve in real time.
There you go. That's a lot, guys.
This wasn't just respect, this was appreciation. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't because Caitlin smiled nice or played politics. This was because of what she did to them on the court. And the reason this stings even more is because this kind of treatment isn't normal. This is Dream Team stuff. This is the kind of post-game behavior you saw when countries lined up to get posters signed by the '92 USA squad, not when they just got flattened by a 23-year-old second-year player. But Caitlin Clark isn't normal. She's a walking sports anomaly, a generational reset button. And Brazil, they didn't just recognize that, they practically carved her name into their hardwood. But here's where it gets flat out embarrassing. Just days before Caitlin Clark lit Brazil on fire, Angel Reese stepped onto that exact same court against the exact same squad and walked off with nothing. Same college homecoming game, same opponents, same chance to shine, but instead of admiration, applause, or autographs, Reese got ignored like an opening act nobody came to see. There were no players lining up post-game, no jerseys handed over, no cameras flashing for selfies, just a quiet exit, a couple of missed buckets, and the kind of silence that echoes when the hype doesn't match the outcome.
Now, you may be like, but Angel Reese. Well, but Angel Reese, what? 9 points last night, 8 rebounds, 4 for 9 from the field, continuing to not shoot 50% as a big from the field.
And listen, this isn't about tearing Reese down. It's about calling the moment what it was, a reality check. Because while Angel's been busy crafting her image, tweeting her worth, and reminding us she's the reason women's basketball is growing, Brazil answered that claim without saying a word. They didn't celebrate her. They didn't repost her highlights. They didn't call her legendary. They just played her and moved on. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark didn't have to say a single thing. She let her jumper do the talking. And Brazil, they didn't just hear it. They believed and saw every word. But that's not all. While Reese was blocking fans and calling herself misunderstood, Caitlin was backstage signing international jerseys like she just dropped 50 in the Olympics. The difference isn't in the stats. It's in the reaction. It's in appreciation.
People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas. Like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Angel Reese demands respect. Caitlin Clark draws it, and that's the difference between trying to be the moment and actually owning it. And then it happened, the moment that told us everything. Brazil's head coach, a veteran of the international game, a man who's probably coached through multiple Olympic cycles, stood on the sidelines after the game looking like he'd just witnessed a basketball hallucination, like he needed someone to explain what just happened.
Brazil, their coaching had no answer whatsoever for Caitlin Clark, and they threw so many different looks at her. Like, I've never seen a team throw so many different looks at a player.
His team didn't just lose, they were dismantled, undressed, reprogrammed. And what did he do? He didn't complain. He didn't point fingers. He praised her publicly, loudly, like he had just seen the second coming of Michael Jordan in ponytail form. This wasn't the kind of generic "she's a good player" coach speak we're used to. This was myth making. He talked about Caitlin Clark like she was a force of nature, like she had walked off Mount Olympus, picked up a basketball, and moonlighted in the WNBA just to give his squad a taste of what greatness really looks like. You could see it in his eyes. This wasn't admiration, it was shock. The man has spent years watching tape, studying schemes, preparing teams for every type of threat, but he had no answer for Caitlin Clark. His defensive game plan didn't just fail, it evaporated. He threw switches, zones, traps. She broke everyone like a cheat code with a jump shot. And the reason this coach's praise hits harder, it's because Brazil is a country that doesn't hand out flowers easily, especially not in basketball. This is a nation that treats soccer like religion. For them to bow their heads and shows this level of respect to an American hooper in a preseason game no less says everything. This wasn't just an opponent tipping his cap. This was a global coach saying, I've seen legends and I just saw another one. Meanwhile, the player who faced his team just days before, he didn't have much to say about her at all.
Excuse me, pardon me, just trying to get through real quick. Sorry about that. Bang!
Excuse me, ma'am. Hold on. I think you dropped something. Oh, it's a dime.
Floater, look at that. Big it, bang, boom, 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 bang. And her misses are majestic and set up her teammates for success. Look at this soft bounce off the rim, put back by her teammate. Bang! Just stand in the corner, clap your heels together 3 times and cut to the basket. Caitlin Clark will find you every single time.
And then she pulled the trigger, 30 feet from the rim, crowd on its feet, shot clock irrelevant. Caitlin Clark took one dribble, stepped into the void, and launched a missile from the logo. Splash. No hesitation, no setup, no mercy. Just one of the coldest, boldest shots you'll ever see in a basketball game, let alone a preseason matchup.
Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo! And a little point afterwards!
The second the ball left her fingertips, the arena held its breath like time froze. The second it landed, the roof practically blew off Carver Hawkeye Arena. Fans lost their minds, broadcasters stumbled over their words, and Brazil's bench, they just sat there. Stunned, silent, shattered. You could see it in their body language. That wasn't just a bucket, that was a statement. A declaration that Caitlin Clark didn't come back to Iowa for a victory lap. She came to remind the world that even her preseason highlights are better than most players' career reels.
Oh boy, did that feel good. Did that feel good from Caitlin Clark opening up the game, pull-up three, bang! To the logo three to close the third quarter, walking off to a standing ovation. Caitlin Clark pulling up from 36 feet out.
Players hit big shots and celebrate like they've done the impossible. Caitlin hits logo threes and acts like she's tying her shoes. And that's what rattles defenders the most. Not just the range, not just the confidence, but the fact that this is normal for her. The logo three wasn't just a highlight. It was the moment everyone watching, from Iowa to Sao Paulo, realized Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player, she's inevitable.
From start to finish, there was never a doubt in our mind. There was never a time where we even thought to ourselves, is this game going to be close? Indiana comes out, 8-0 run, close out the first quarter, close out the second quarter, close out the third quarter, sit our starters in the fourth quarter, and by the time it's all said and done, the Indiana Fever score more than double the Brazilian national.
But the real divide isn't in points, it's in perception. Caitlin Clark doesn't beg for respect, she commands it. While she signs autographs for the team she just torched, Angel Reese is online, demanding recognition, throwing shade, and retweeting praise from fans like it's validation. But here's the thing, respect isn't something you shout into existence, it's something you earn. Brazil showed more admiration for Caitlin Clark in one night than Angel Reese has received from the global stage in her entire WNBA run. Not because they were told to, not because of marketing hype, but because they saw it. Live, undeniable, elite level dominance.
Our first look at Caitlin Clark in her second WNBA season, and she did not disappoint. She was raining threes, her handle looked tighter than ever, her vision was on point, and she brought this energy, and she brought the crowd, and everything was just electric because she was on the court.
She played 18 minutes and tilted the earth. The crazy part? She would have scored 40 if she wanted, but she didn't need to, because the game was already over, in spirit, in momentum, and in confidence, before the third quarter even ended.
But all in all, Caitlin Clark with a plus 42. She played 18 minutes. She played 18 minutes and was plus 42. Plus 42. 42 in 18 minutes. And there was a stage where it was her with all the rookies and she was still just carrying them. She got 2 assists to, I think, to a Yvonne Ejim. 1 foul, 3 turnovers to 5 assists.
Meanwhile, Reese is still out here campaigning to be the moment, when the moment already passed her by. This wasn't about clout, this was about impact, and if that wasn't enough, the Brazil squad didn't just admire Clark during the game, they were mimicking her in warm-ups, taking logo threes, reenacting her signature step back. This wasn't an imitation, it was acknowledgement. Clark isn't out here calling herself the future, she's out here rewriting the present, and that's what every player, including Reese, is going to have to live with.
108-44, Caitlin Clark. Did she look rusty? I don't know. 16.6 rebounds, 5 assists, plus 42, plus minus in only 19 minutes of hoops. Caitlin Clark hoops are back. She looked good, folks.
And it wasn't just the coach, or the stats, or the shot. It was the vibe. Before the game, Brazil's players were out there on the court trying to hit Caitlin Clark's shots. After the game, they were in full-on fan mode, smiling, laughing, snapping selfies, handing over their own jerseys like prized collectibles. These weren't casual gestures. This was icon worship, and it was happening just feet away from where Clark had torched them a half hour earlier. You'd think there would be frustration frustration, embarrassment, silence. But Brazil didn't care, because when you witness greatness up close, you want a piece of it.
She's signing their jerseys. They're that much in awe of her. And still, they were there. They were there. They were knocking her on her ass a couple of times. They were being physical. They were denying her. They didn't try to stop during the game. They just did not have it. They're so excited. They're taking pictures with her after the game.
Meanwhile, when Reese played them, none of this happened. No frenzy, no autographs, not even a moment of viral celebration. Just another game, another missed chance to be remembered. But the reason this moment matters? Because it wasn't even a playoff. It wasn't the finals. It wasn't supposed to matter. And yet, it turned into one of the most globally viral moments of the preseason. Clark didn't just dominate the scoreboard, she shifted international perception. Brazil didn't walk out with bruised egos. They walked out with stories. And now, they're part of the Caitlin Clark effect. And by the time the buzzer hit, one thing was clear. We're not watching a prospect. We're not watching a breakout star. We're watching the center of gravity in women's basketball.
And honestly, I didn't plan to shoot that logo 3. I know coming into the game, everybody wanted me to shoot one from there. But Steph was like, was supposed to come out at the end of the third, so she's like, give a foul, give a foul, give a foul. And then it was 30 seconds on the clock, which like between 30 to 33, that's like your 2-for-1 range where you have to get one up. So I saw 30 as we're inbounding the ball, which probably is inbounding the ball at 30, probably a little low. But I was like, why not? Might as well launch one, and it went in, and then Steph used the timeout to get me out. But yeah, that was pretty.
Caitlin Clark didn't ask for the spotlight. She didn't campaign for attention. She just took the floor, and the whole world followed her. From Iowa to Sao Paulo, Brazil's national team didn't just compete. They celebrated, and the internet, it blew up. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still tweeting about being that girl, still posting inspirational captions about being overlooked, while the actual face of the league is getting standing ovations in multiple languages. That's the difference. Caitlin Clark doesn't chase the moment. She is the moment. And if Brazil's reaction told us anything, it's that the game has already changed. Because when you make your opponents line up for autographs after a 64-point blowout, that's not basketball. That's legacy in motion. Thanks for watching. Comment down below if you think Caitlin Clark is the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. We'll see you in the next video.